Chosen one, listen carefully. What I am about to share is not for everyone. This message is urgent and it carries weight. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if you are here out of curiosity, distraction, or mockery, this is not for you. But if you are a true follower of God, if your spirit feels called, restless, and awakened, then you are exactly where you are meant to be. This message has reached you at the perfect time, not late, not early. God Himself aligned this moment for you, because what is coming next will change how you see yourself, your purpose, and your life. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a shift. A transition is unfolding, and tomorrow you will step into a higher spiritual awareness. This is not fantasy, this is not hype. This is a divine elevation, a movement into 5D consciousness, where clarity replaces confusion and peace replaces inner warfare. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to understand will bring relief to your mind and confirmation to your soul. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the Spirit Guide channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell icon so you don't miss what God releases next. Share this message with other chosen ones and comment 555 to declare that you are aligned and ready for divine elevation. God never misses. Many of you have been asking God quietly, sometimes with words, sometimes with tears, when will it happen? You have felt like you were doing everything right, praying, believing, staying faithful, yet the breakthrough seemed just out of reach. I need you to understand this clearly. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence. Waiting is not punishment. For chosen ones, waiting is preparation. God does not move according to panic or pressure. He moves according to precision. And when He moves suddenly. But that sudden movement is built on a long season of unseen alignment. What looks like nothing happening was actually everything being arranged. When I say tomorrow, I am not speaking only of a calendar date. I am speaking of a threshold, a crossing, a moment where something inside you shifts. Your awareness changes, your reactions soften, your discernment sharpens, your spirit steps forward. That is how God works. Before He changes your environment, He changes your perception. You see, chosen one, you could not have entered this level earlier. It would have crushed you. The weight of higher awareness without emotional maturity leads to confusion, pride, or fear. God waited until your heart was ready, not perfect, but ready to listen instead of react, ready to trust instead of control, ready to rest instead of chase. Think back for a moment. The isolation you endured was not abandonment. It was refinement. The misunderstandings were not accidents. They were filters. The disappointments were not failures. They were redirections. God was quietly removing what could not follow you into the next level. This is why this message feels personal. This is why it feels like it is speaking directly to your life. Because it is. God does not broadcast His deepest moves. He whispers them to those who are aligned. Many of you have felt an internal pressure recently, not fear, but a strange heaviness mixed with anticipation. Your sleep patterns changed. Your appetite shifted. Old habits lost their grip. Conversations felt shallow. Noise felt irritating. Silence felt necessary. These are not symptoms of confusion. These are signs of transition. The human mind wants timelines. God works with seasons. A seed does not argue with the soil. It trusts the process. And you, chosen one, have been planted deep enough to survive storms, deep enough to grow roots that will not be shaken. You were not forgotten. You were being strengthened where no one could see, while others were distracted. God was disciplining your spirit. While others were chasing validation, God was teaching you discernment. While others were rushing, God was teaching you stillness. This message is reaching you now because resistance has weakened. Your ego is quieter, your heart is softer. You are no longer begging God to move. You are learning how to wait with faith. That is maturity. That is readiness. Let me say this without hesitation. If you were not chosen, this message would annoy you. You would click away, you would feel nothing, but you stayed. That tells me something about your spirit. Divine timing does not ask for permission. It arrives when alignment is complete. And alignment, chosen one, is not about perfection. It is about surrender. You stopped trying to force outcomes. You stopped trying to prove yourself. You started listening more than speaking. That is why tomorrow matters. Not because something magical falls from the sky, but because you step into a new way of seeing. You stop interpreting life through fear. You start interpreting it through faith. God waited until your nervous system could handle peace, until your mind could handle clarity, until your heart could hold authority without becoming hardened. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And this message is confirmation, not pressure. Rest in that truth. The shift is not coming to overwhelm you. It is coming to relieve you. And this is only the beginning. Let me take you a little deeper. Chosen one. Because some of you still feel a quiet uneasiness in your chest. Not fear, but uncertainty. You are sensing movement, yet you cannot fully explain it. That is because the shift approaching you is internal before it ever becomes visible. God always changes the inside first. He strengthens the foundation before he builds the next level. There were moments when you thought you had missed your opportunity. Times when you replayed decisions, conversations, and seasons in your mind, wondering if you ruined something sacred. I want to correct that thought right now. What God has for you cannot be ruined by human error. If it could, it would not be divine. Grace covers what ignorance could not. Mercy restores what confusion disrupted. The reason tomorrow feels heavy is because transition always carries weight. Even birth comes with pressure. But pressure is not meant to harm you. It is meant to push you forward. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. And your spirit knows it, even if your mind is still catching up. God allowed you to reach where old coping mechanisms no longer work. Distractions stopped soothing you. Approval stopped satisfying you. Noise stopped comforting you. That is not loss. That is clarity. When God removes crutches, it is because your legs are finally strong enough to stand. You are learning to sit with yourself without judgment. You are learning to listen without panic. You are learning that stillness is not stagnation. It is alignment, and alignment is power. So if your life feels quiet right now, do not fill it with unnecessary noise. If it feels slow, do not rush it. If it feels unfamiliar, do not resist it. You are standing between what was and what will be. That space is sacred. Tomorrow does not mean everything changes instantly. It means you change. And when you change, everything else follows in time. Trust this moment. God does not bring you to the edge without teaching you how to cross. The signs you are ready, proof you are a chosen one at the edge. Chosen one, I want you to listen slowly now. Not with urgency, not with anxiety, but with honesty, because everything I am about to say will sound familiar to you. Not because you heard it somewhere before, but because you have lived it. Readiness does not announce itself with fireworks. It reveals itself through quiet changes that most people overlook. And chosen ones, especially, tend to doubt their readiness because they confuse exhaustion with failure. Let me correct that thinking right now. What you have been feeling is not collapse. It is completion. One of the clearest signs you are ready is that your tolerance for nonsense has disappeared. You no longer have the energy to entertain shallow conversations, fake connections, or emotional games. Things that once felt normal now feel heavy. Loud environments drain you. Small talk irritates you. Not because you are becoming cold, but because your spirit is becoming precise. God is refining your attention. He is teaching you where not to pour yourself anymore. Another sign is this strange emotional neutrality you have been experiencing. You are not as reactive as you used to be. Things that once triggered anger, jealousy, or panic now pass through you more quickly. Do not mistake this for numbness. This is emotional maturity. You are no longer ruled by impulse. You observe first. You breathe first. You discern before you respond. That is not accidental. That is training. Chosen ones at the edge often feel misunderstood, even by people they love, not because those people are evil, but because they are operating on a different level of awareness. You started seeing patterns others still deny. You started sensing motives before words were spoken. You started trusting your intuition more than external validation. That distance you feel is not rejection. It is differentiation. God is separating you gently so you can stand firmly. You may have noticed that your old dreams changed. The things you once prayed for no longer excite you the same way. You still want stability, peace, and provision, but the hunger for applause, recognition, or approval faded. That is not loss of ambition. That is purification of desire. God is aligning your wants with your calling, and when desires change, direction follows. Let me speak directly to your exhaustion. You are tired, but not lazy. You are drained, but not defeated. Your tiredness comes from carrying things you were never meant to carry for this long. You have been emotionally strong for others, spiritually disciplined for yourself, mentally alert in environments that were not safe. That kind of strength costs something. God sees it. And readiness often shows up as fatigue because the old season is finally ending. Another sign you are ready is that solitude no longer scares you. In fact, you crave it. You seek quiet, not to escape life, but to hear God more clearly. Silence became healing instead of lonely. You started enjoying your own presence without needing constant distraction. That tells me something important. You have made peace with yourself, and only those who are ready can sit with themselves without judgment. Chosen ones at the edge also experience a deep sense of internal honesty. You can no longer lie to yourself. You feel discomfort when you compromise your values. You sense when something is off, even if it looks good on the surface. This integrity is not self-righteousness. It is alignment. God sharpens discernment before elevation because higher levels require cleaner motives. You may also feel like your identity no longer fits, but the new one has not fully revealed itself yet. That in-between feeling can be uncomfortable. You are not who you were, but you are not fully who you are becoming. That space is sacred. That is the edge. Do not rush to label yourself. Let God define you in His timing. Another sign is that you stopped chasing people who walk away. You stopped explaining yourself excessively. You stopped begging to be understood. That is not bitterness. That is self-respect rooted in spiritual confidence. When God is your validator, human approval loses its grip. You have also noticed your prayers changing. You pray less for things and more for clarity, peace, and alignment. You ask God to remove what is not meant for you. That is a dangerous prayer for the unready. But you prayed it anyway. That tells me you trust God more than comfort, and that trust is required for what comes next. Chosen one, you are also learning to release control. You do not need to know every step anymore. You stopped forcing timelines. You started trusting seasons. That is not passivity, that is faith. Control is fear pretending to be wisdom. Trust is wisdom anchored in God. You may feel moments of deep compassion, followed by moments of firm boundaries. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. God is teaching you balance. Jesus had compassion, but he also walked away when needed. You are learning when to give and when to withdraw. That is mastery, not confusion. Some of you feel a physical heaviness lately, pressure in the chest, tightness in the shoulders, restlessness in the body. That is not always anxiety. Sometimes it is unprocessed transition energy. Your body is adjusting to internal change. That is why rest is important now. Do not ignore it, honor it. You may have also experienced people resurfacing from your past. Old conversations, old memories, old emotions. That is not regression. That is closure. God often brings unresolved threads to the surface right before elevation, so they do not follow you forward. Another sign you are ready is that you are less impressed by titles, status, or appearances. You see through surface-level success. You value character, truth, and peace more than performance. That perspective only comes from inner growth. Let me say this clearly. If you were not ready, you would still be running, still numbing, still blaming, still chasing, still proving. But you are slowing down, you are observing, you are listening, you are letting go. That tells me you are at the edge, and here is the final sign I want you to hear. Despite everything you went through, you still believe. You may question yourself, but you did not abandon God. You may feel tired, but you did not turn bitter. You may feel confused, but you did not lose faith. That alone confirms your readiness. Chosen one, readiness is not loud. It is grounded. It is calm. It is honest. It is surrendered. You are not standing at the edge by accident. You were guided here. And what comes next will not require you to become someone else. It will require you to fully be who you already are. Let me add something important here, chosen one. Because some of you are still questioning yourselves quietly. You are wondering if what you are feeling is spiritual readiness or just emotional exhaustion. I want to make this distinction clear so your mind can finally rest. Emotional exhaustion drains you and leaves you empty. Spiritual readiness humbles you, but it also steadies you. Even in your tiredness, there is a calm underneath. Even in your uncertainty, there is a knowing you cannot explain. That knowing is not imagination. It is recognition. Your spirit recognizes where it is headed, even before your mind has full language for it. You have also reached a point where pretending costs you more than being honest. You can no longer wear masks comfortably. You feel physical discomfort when you try to shrink yourself to fit places you have outgrown. That discomfort is guidance. God is making misalignment unbearable, so alignment becomes your only option. Another quiet sign of readiness is how you respond to correction now. Instead of becoming defensive, you reflect. Instead of reacting, you pause. You are no longer interested in being right. You are interested in being true. That shift alone separates chosen ones from the crowd. You may notice that your faith has become quieter but deeper. You do not need to announce it, you live it. Your relationship with God feels more personal, less performative. You trust Him enough to sit in unanswered questions without losing your peace. That level of faith cannot be taught. It is earned through experience. And finally, chosen one, there is this deep inner pull you feel. Not excitement, not fear, but a steady pull forward, like something inside you is gently saying, keep going. That pull is not ambition, it is calling. And calling does not shout. It whispers until you listen. If all of this feels familiar, stop questioning your readiness. You are not imagining this season. You are standing exactly where chosen ones stand, right before the next level opens. Rest in that truth. You are closer than you think. What 5D truly means, a Christian spiritual interpretation. Chosen one, before I take you any further, I need to settle something in your spirit. The term 5D has been misunderstood, misused, and in many places disconnected from God. So let me be clear, steady, and authoritative here. What I am about to explain is not fantasy, not escapism, and not some trend borrowed from spiritual confusion. What I am speaking of is deeply biblical, deeply grounded and fully aligned with the way God matures His chosen people. When I speak of 5D, I am not talking about leaving your body, floating into the sky, or escaping reality. God does not elevate His people to disconnect them from life. He elevates them to govern it wisely. 5D is not a place you travel to. It is a level of spiritual awareness you grow into. Most of the world lives in what we can call survival awareness. This is where fear dominates decision-making, where reactions control behavior, where people are driven by external circumstances. That is not sin. That is immaturity, and God is patient with it. But chosen ones are not called to stay there. 5D awareness is when your spirit leads instead of your emotions, when faith interprets reality instead of fear, when you respond instead of react, when you discern instead of assume. That is the shift. Jesus Himself lived and taught from this level. He walked in the world, but He was not governed by it. Storms did not panic Him. Crowds did not define Him. Rejection did not destabilize Him. Why? Because His awareness was anchored in the Father, not in circumstances. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you," He was not speaking poetically. He was teaching awareness. He was saying that spiritual authority begins internally. That is 5D living. Let me contrast this clearly so you understand. Lower awareness asks, what is happening to me? Higher awareness asks, what is God doing through this? Lower awareness seeks control. Higher awareness seeks alignment. Lower awareness needs constant reassurance. Higher awareness rests in trust. This does not mean chosen ones no longer feel pain. It means pain no longer rules them. It does not mean you stop feeling emotion. It means emotion no longer leads you into chaos. 5D is emotional mastery under God's authority. Many people confuse spiritual elevation with spiritual superiority. That is dangerous. True elevation produces humility, not arrogance. It produces service, not entitlement. Jesus washed feet. That is higher dimensional authority. Anyone who claims spiritual elevation while despising others has missed the truth entirely. Now let me address a concern some of you have silently. You wonder if embracing this understanding pulls you away from Christ. Let me say this without hesitation. If a spiritual idea pulls you away from Jesus, It is not from God. True elevation brings you closer to Him, not further away. 5D awareness deepens your dependence on God. It does not replace Him. It sharpens obedience. It softens the heart. It strengthens discernment. It quiets the ego. In this level of awareness, you stop seeing people as enemies and start seeing them as wounded. You stop personalizing rejection. You stop absorbing other people's chaos. You understand that not everyone who opposes you is assigned to destroy you. Some are simply unhealed. This is why forgiveness becomes easier at this level, not because the offense was small, but because your perspective became wider. You realize holding resentment poisons your own spirit. Jesus taught this clearly. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you are free. Another core aspect of 5D awareness is discernment over judgment. You stop labeling quickly, you pause, you observe, you listen. You let God reveal truth in His time. This is maturity. This is wisdom, chosen one. You will also notice that as awareness rises, your need to explain yourself decreases. You are not hiding, you are resting. People operating from lower awareness demand explanations. People operating from higher awareness trust God to speak for them. You will still live in this world. You will still work, love, plan, and build. But the internal atmosphere changes. Peace becomes your baseline, not your reward. Calm becomes your strength, not your weakness. This is what Scripture means when it says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That is not motivational language. That is spiritual technology. A renewed mind perceives reality differently. It sees God's hand where others see chaos. In 5D awareness, you stop chasing signs because you recognize seasons. You stop begging for clarity because you walk in discernment. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "How can I steward this?" Let me say something important here. Entering this level does not make life easier immediately. It makes it clearer. And clarity sometimes requires courage. You may have to walk away from what you once tolerated. You may have to say no where you once said yes. You may have to stand alone for a moment. That is not loss. That is alignment. This is also where faith becomes experiential, not just belief, but trust. You do not just know God exists. You rely on Him. You listen. You obey even when it does not make sense. That is where miracles flow, not from desperation, but from alignment. Many chosen ones fear this shift because they think they will lose their softness or their compassion. The opposite happens. Compassion deepens, but it gains boundaries. Love becomes wiser. Giving becomes intentional. Jesus loved deeply, but He did not chase everyone. He healed many, but He did not explain Himself to mockers. He taught openly, but He spoke in parables to protect truth from misuse. That is advanced spiritual wisdom. 5D awareness teaches you that not everyone deserves access to you. That is not pride. That is stewardship. Your energy, your time, your spirit are entrusted to you by God. You are accountable for how you pour them out. As this awareness settles, your prayer life changes. You pray less from panic and more from partnership. You ask God what He is doing and how you can cooperate. You listen more than you speak. Silence becomes sacred. You also begin to trust God's no as much as His yes. You understand that closed doors are not rejection. They are protection. That understanding saves you years of regret. Chosen one entering 5D does not make you special in the eyes of God. You are already loved. It makes you responsible. Responsible to walk in truth, responsible to stay humble, responsible to reflect Christ, not ego. And this is why this shift happens after breaking, not before. God empties what would corrupt power. He heals what would distort authority. He humbles what would seek recognition. So when I say you are entering 5D tomorrow, understand this. You are stepping into a deeper way of seeing, living, and trusting God. Not above others, but anchored in truth. Not detached from life, but rooted in peace. This is not an escape. This is embodiment, and once you see from this level, you cannot unsee it. That is the weight and the gift of true spiritual elevation. Let me continue, because some of you still need this anchored even deeper. I can sense the questions forming in your mind, not out of doubt, but out of discernment. And that is good. Chosen ones do not blindly accept spiritual language. They test it, they weigh it, they bring it before God. So let me bring this all the way into clarity. One of the clearest marks of 5D awareness is how you relate to uncertainty. In lower awareness, uncertainty produces anxiety. You rush to fill the gap, you assume the worst, you seek control. In higher awareness, uncertainty becomes neutral. You do not panic. You wait, you observe. You trust that God is working even when you do not see movement. That calm in the unknown is not denial. It is confidence in God's sovereignty. Another dimension of this awareness is how you experience time. You stop living in regret over the past or fear of the future. You become present, not careless, but grounded. Jesus spoke often about today. Do not worry about tomorrow. That was not advice for laziness. It was instruction for alignment. When your awareness is anchored in God, the present moment becomes sufficient. You also stop absorbing collective fear. News, opinions, and emotional chaos no longer hijack your spirit. You stay informed, but you are not infected. You understand that not every loud voice deserves your attention. This does not make you disconnected. It makes you discerning. At this level, you recognize that spiritual warfare is not always dramatic. Often it is subtle. Distraction, discouragement, overthinking, exhaustion, and the primary weapon is peace. When you remain calm, the enemy loses leverage. That is why Scripture emphasizes peace that surpasses understanding. It disarms confusion. 5D awareness also refines how you speak. You choose words carefully. You stop venting impulsively. You understand that words carry weight. You speak life. Not because you are pretending, but because you are aligned. Silence becomes just as powerful as speech. Another important shift happens in how you interpret resistance. You stop seeing obstacles as signs to quit. You see them as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. Not every resistance is from the enemy, but resistance no longer intimidates you. You ask God for wisdom, not escape. You also begin to recognize divine patterns. Repetition stops feeling random. You see lessons being offered again until they are integrated. Instead of frustration, you feel gratitude for the opportunity to grow. That mindset protects you from bitterness. Let me address something carefully. 5D awareness does not mean you no longer struggle. It means struggle no longer defines you. You may still have moments of doubt, sadness, or fatigue, but you do not spiral. You recover faster. You return to center more quickly. That is growth. This level also deepens your understanding of obedience. Obedience is no longer about fear of punishment. It becomes about alignment with peace. When you disobey, you feel internal friction. When you obey, you feel rest. That internal feedback is spiritual maturity. You also become more comfortable with not being understood. You stop trying to translate your journey to people who are not meant to walk it, not out of secrecy, but wisdom. Jesus often withdrew. That was not avoidance. That was discernment. Chosen one. As this awareness settles, your identity stabilizes. You are less reactive to praise and less crushed by criticism. You know who you are in God. That stability cannot be shaken easily. This is why entering 5D feels like relief more than excitement. It is not an adrenaline rush. It is a settling, a grounding, a quiet strength replacing inner noise, and here is the final anchor I want to give you. This level of awareness is not earned by effort. It is received through surrender. You did not force this. You grew into it by walking faithfully through discomfort, disappointment, and discipline. So do not fear this shift. Do not overthink it. Let it unfold naturally. Stay humble. Stay anchored in Christ. Stay obedient to what God places in front of you. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of walking with clearer eyes, steadier steps, and deeper trust. And once you experience life from this awareness, you will understand why God waited until now. Spiritual and mental healing. Letting go before you cross. Chosen one. This is where I want you to slow down even more. This part is not about information. It is about release. You cannot cross into a higher level of awareness while carrying the weight of unhealed wounds. God does not rush healing. He honors it. And right now, He is inviting you to lay some things down. You have been strong for a long time, strong in silence. Strong when no one asked how you were really doing. Strong when you had to encourage others while your own heart felt heavy. That strength was necessary for a season, but it is not meant to be permanent armor. Even Jesus wept. Even He withdrew to rest. Strength that never rests becomes self-punishment. Let me speak directly to the quiet pain you rarely name. The pain of being misunderstood, the pain of being judged for your depth, the pain of giving more than you received. Those wounds did not make you bitter, but they made you tired. And God sees that tiredness. He does not condemn it. He calls it home. Healing begins when you stop asking yourself why you are like this and start honoring how God formed you. You are sensitive, not weak. You are observant, not overthinking. You are compassionate, not foolish. You were designed to feel deeply because deep healing requires deep awareness. One of the hardest things for chosen ones to release is guilt. Guilt for resting, guilt for saying no, guilt for not being everything to everyone. Let me be clear. Guilt is not conviction. Conviction guides you. Guilt punishes you. God convicts. The enemy accuses. If a thought leaves you feeling condemned and small, it is not from God. You are also being asked to release resentment. Not because what happened was acceptable, but because carrying it binds you to the past. Forgiveness is not agreement. It is liberation. Jesus did not forgive to excuse harm. He forgave to remain free. Some of you are still carrying anger toward yourself. Regret over choices you made when you were unhealed. Words you spoke when you were scared. Paths you took when you did not know better. Hear me clearly. God does not hold your healed self accountable for what your wounded self did to survive. Grace covers what growth had not yet reached. Letting go also means releasing old identities. The one who always struggles, the one who is always overlooked, the one who is always the strong one. Those identities kept you alive, but they will not carry you forward. You are allowed to evolve, There is also grief here. Grief for relationships that ended without closure. Grief for versions of yourself that never got to rest. Grief for dreams that changed shape. Do not rush past this. Grief is not lack of faith. It is love adjusting to reality. God is not asking you to forget your pain. He is asking you to stop living inside it. Healing does not erase memory. It changes its power. Let me guide you gently here. Take a breath. Imagine placing your burdens in God's hands, not all at once, but one by one. The disappointment, the betrayal, the self-doubt, the fear of being seen. You do not have to explain them. God already knows. Mental healing also means releasing the habit of overanalyzing everything. Your mind has been in survival mode for too long, always scanning, always preparing, always bracing. That vigilance protected you once, but now it is exhausting you. God is inviting your mind into rest. Peace is not something you earn by doing everything right. It is something you receive when you trust God with what you cannot control. You do not have to fix yourself before God meets you. He meets you where you are and heals you as you walk. Another layer of healing is allowing yourself to receive. You are good at giving. You struggle with receiving. Compliments feel uncomfortable. Help feels undeserved. Rest feels unearned. That is not humility. That is conditioning. God wants to rewire that. You are not selfish for choosing yourself when your cup is empty. You are not unloving for protecting your boundaries. You are not disobedient for resting. Jesus rested. He withdrew. He slept during storms. That is divine permission. As you prepare to cross, you are being asked to release fear of the unknown. Fear says, "What if I fail?" Faith asks, "What if God carries me?" You do not need certainty. You need trust. Healing also means forgiving your body for being tired, for holding tension, for reacting before thinking. Your body carried you through seasons your mind barely survived. Honor it, rest it, nourish it, chosen one. Letting go is not loss. It is lightening your load. You are not becoming less. You are becoming free. This is the final clearing before the crossing. Do not rush it. Do not resist it. Let what needs to fall away fall gently. You are not leaving anything essential behind, only what cannot follow you forward. And when you step into what comes next, you will feel lighter. Not because life becomes easy, but because your soul is no longer fighting itself. That is healing, and it is holy. Let me add one more layer here, chosen one. Because some of the deepest healing you need is the kind no one ever talks about. It is the healing from always having to be the strong one, the one who holds it together, the one others lean on, the one who figures it out. That role shaped you, but it also silently exhausted you. You learned early that vulnerability felt unsafe, so you became capable instead. You became responsible instead. You became spiritually disciplined instead. And while those qualities are not wrong, carrying them without rest slowly hardened parts of your heart that God now wants to soften again. Healing in this season looks like allowing yourself to need God without guilt, not as a concept, but as a refuge. It looks like admitting you do not have all the answers and letting that be okay. It looks like praying without eloquence, without structure, without performance. Just honesty. Some of you are also healing from disappointment with God. You would never say it out loud, but you expected certain things to happen by now. You trusted, you waited, you obeyed, and it still hurt. God is not offended by your honesty. He would rather you bring that disappointment to him than carry it alone. Let go of the idea that healing must look dramatic. Sometimes healing is quiet acceptance. Sometimes it is choosing peace over explanation. Sometimes it is simply stopping the internal argument you have been replaying for years. You do not need to reopen every wound to prove you have healed. You need to close them with grace. As you release these final weights, notice how your breath deepens, how your shoulders relax, how your mind softens. That is your nervous system responding to safety. And safety is required for spiritual elevation. You are not crossing into what is next as a wounded warrior. You are crossing as a healed servant, grounded, present, and free. That is how God prepares his chosen ones. The next 24 hours, how to align yourself for the shift, chosen one. What you do in the next 24 hours is not about striving, it is about positioning. Alignment is not effort, it is posture. And right now, God is not asking you to do more. He is asking you to listen better. The first thing I want you to understand is this. You do not need to force anything to happen tomorrow. Forced movement creates resistance. Surrendered movement creates flow. So let go of the urge to over-prepare, overthink, or overanalyze. Peace is your signal that you are aligned. Begin by protecting your atmosphere. Be mindful of what you consume. Conversations, media, and noise all shape your awareness. You do not need to isolate completely, but you do need to be selective. If something stirs anxiety, step back. If something drains your spirit, pause it. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. Create space for stillness, not performance, not long rituals, just presence. Sit quietly, breathe slowly. Invite God into that quiet. You do not need to speak much. Sometimes the most powerful prayer is attention. Let your spirit settle. In these hours, your discernment will be heightened. Pay attention to subtle nudges, a thought that brings calm, a direction that feels gentle but firm, a sense of release around something you have been holding on to. Do not dismiss these. God often guides through peace, not pressure. Another important alignment is rest, real rest, not distraction disguised as rest. Sleep if your body asks for it. Step outside if you feel drawn to nature. Drink water, nourish your body. Spiritual shifts are integrated through the nervous system. A regulated body receives clarity more easily. Be cautious of emotional conversations right now. This is not the time to confront, explain, or resolve everything. Let tomorrow arrive without unnecessary emotional weight. Silence can be alignment. Waiting can be obedience. You may feel an urge to clean, organize, or simplify your space. That is not random. Physical order supports mental clarity. Let go of clutter, not obsessively but intentionally. You are signaling readiness for something new. Prayer in this season is not about asking God to move. It is about agreeing with what He is already doing. A simple prayer is enough. God, I trust you. God, lead me, God. I am open. That posture matters more than perfect words. Also, guard against fear-based anticipation. Tomorrow does not require perfection. You do not need to wake up feeling different to be different. Alignment is often subtle. Do not chase sensations. Trust the process. Stay grounded in gratitude. Gratitude anchors awareness. Name what you are thankful for, even quietly. Gratitude shifts your nervous system from survival to trust. Avoid making big, impulsive decisions in these 24 hours unless there is unmistakable peace. Clarity will come. You do not need to rush it. Another alignment practice is forgiveness in advance. Release expectations of how tomorrow should look. Release pressure on yourself to feel or perform a certain way. Let God surprise you. Listen carefully now. Alignment is not about becoming spiritual, you already are. It is about removing resistance. Resistance often shows up as control, fear, or urgency. When you notice those feelings, breathe, return to trust. You may experience heightened emotions. Let them pass without analysis. You do not need to label everything. Awareness without attachment is maturity. Keep your heart soft. Do not armor up. Softness is strength at this level. If you are led to write, reflect, or journal, do it without judgment. If you are led to be quiet, honor that too. The most important alignment is obedience to peace. Peace is not laziness. It is confirmation. Let tomorrow come naturally. Wake up without expectation. Enter the day gently. Observe how you respond to life. That response is where the shift reveals itself. God is not testing you in these hours. He is settling you. Trust that remain open. Stay humble. Stay present. You are not preparing to perform. You are preparing to receive. And receiving requires one thing above all else: stillness. Let me add this, chosen one, because some of you are still feeling a quiet urgency in your chest, and I want to ease that completely. That urgency is not a warning. It is anticipation mixed with habit. You are used to bracing yourself before something changes. But this time, God is not asking you to brace. He is asking you to soften. In the next 24 hours, be especially gentle with your thoughts. Notice when your mind starts racing ahead, trying to predict outcomes. That habit once protected you. Now it interferes. When you catch it, do not fight it. Simply return to the present. God meets you in the now, not in imagined futures. You may also feel prompted to disconnect briefly from people who pull you into old emotional patterns. That does not mean cutting anyone off. It means creating temporary space. Alignment sometimes requires distance, not because others are wrong, but because you need clarity. Pay attention to your body. Tension is information. If your jaw tightens, unclench it. If your shoulders rise, lower them. These small acts of awareness tell your nervous system that you are safe, and safety allows spiritual integration. If you feel led to worship quietly, do it without pressure. If you feel led to walk in silence, honor that. There is no single correct way to align. There is only responsiveness. Be careful not to seek validation during this time. Do not look for signs from people. Look for peace within. God often confirms internally before he confirms externally. If fear whispers, acknowledge it without agreement. Fear is loud right before it loses influence. You do not need to argue with it. Let peace outlast it. Another important alignment is honesty with God. Say what you are actually feeling, not what you think you should feel. God responds to truth, not performance. Also, release the idea that alignment must look dramatic. Sometimes alignment feels ordinary. You eat, you rest, you pray, you live, and inside, something quietly rearranges. If you wake up tomorrow and nothing feels different, do not be discouraged. Shifts are often recognized in hindsight. You notice them by how you respond, not how you feel. Finally, trust that God knows how to lead you across this threshold. You are not doing this alone. You are being guided. Stay present, stay open, stay grounded. The work now is not effort, it is trust, and trust is alignment. Spiritual protection, staying grounded after elevation, chosen one. Elevation without grounding is dangerous, and God does not elevate his people to confuse them, inflate them, or leave them exposed. He elevates to entrust. That is why protection is not optional after a shift. It is necessary. The first form of spiritual protection is humility, not self-degradation, but accurate self-awareness. You are chosen, but you are not self-appointed. Everything you carry flows from God, not from personal superiority. The moment elevation feeds ego, protection weakens. Stay teachable, stay prayerful, stay dependent on God. Discernment after elevation, your sensitivity increases. You notice more, you feel more, you understand more. That is a gift, but it requires wisdom. Not every insight needs to be shared. Not every thought needs to be acted on. Discernment knows when to speak and when to remain silent. You may notice that people respond differently to you. Some will feel drawn. Others will feel threatened. Do not personalize either reaction. Attraction and resistance are natural responses to clarity. Your role is not to manage how others feel. Your role is to remain aligned. Spiritual protection also means guarding your inner world. Do not invite chaos back in just to feel familiar. Old habits may knock, old patterns may tempt. That does not mean you failed, it means growth is real. When something no longer fits, it will try to pull you back. Gently refuse. Another important protection is staying grounded in the physical. Eat well. Rest, move your body, stay connected to ordinary life. Spiritual elevation does not detach you from humanity. It deepens your presence within it. Jesus ate, walked, rested, and lived fully among people. Follow that model. Prayer after elevation shifts in tone. It becomes more about alignment than answers. You ask God how to steward what you have been given. You listen more. You respond slower. That posture protects you from impulsive decisions. Be cautious of spiritual isolation. Solitude is healthy. Isolation is not. Do not withdraw completely from community. Seek wise, grounded believers. You do not need many. You need alignment. Accountability protects clarity. Another protection is boundaries. Your compassion may increase, but your access must remain selective. You are not meant to absorb everyone's pain. You are meant to serve from overflow, not depletion. Jesus healed many, but he did not stay everywhere. Also, guard against spiritual comparison. Elevation looks different for each person. Do not measure your journey against someone else's comparison. Weakens gratitude and invites insecurity. Stay in your lane. God knows what he entrusted to you. You may also experience spiritual testing after elevation, not to make you fall, but to strengthen what has been built. When challenges come, do not panic. Return to truth, return to peace, return to prayer. Protection also means staying rooted in Scripture. Experiences must be anchored in truth. Feelings fluctuate, truth remains. Scripture keeps awareness balanced and centered. If confusion arises, slow down. Do not rush to label it. Confusion often means you need rest, not answers. Rest restores clarity. Chosen one. Spiritual protection is not about fear of attack. It is about stability in truth. When you are grounded, nothing external can easily shake you. Remain humble, remain obedient. Remain grounded. God covers what he elevates, and as long as you stay anchored in him, what he gives you will never harm you. That is how chosen ones walk forward safely, steadily, and securely. Conclusion. Sealing the shift. Chosen one, take a deep breath with me right now. Let everything you have heard settle gently into your spirit. You were not brought here by accident. This message did not find you randomly. God aligned this moment because you were ready to receive it. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not missing anything. Everything you walked through prepared you for this shift. Tomorrow is not about becoming someone new. It is about fully stepping into who God has been shaping all along. Do not chase signs. Do not force feelings. Walk forward in trust. Let peace guide you. Let humility ground you. Let faith steady you. The elevation you are entering is not loud. It is stable. It is calm. It is rooted. Remember this. God does not elevate you to impress others. He elevates you to serve with wisdom, love, and discernment. Stay close to Him. Stay anchored in truth. Stay gentle with yourself. If doubt whispers, return to prayer. If confusion rises, return to stillness. If fear tries to speak, let peace answer it. You are protected, you are guided, you are supported. Chosen one, you are not crossing this threshold alone. God goes before you. He walks with you. He covers you from behind. Before you go, if this message resonated with your spirit, give a like to this video. Subscribe to the Spirit Guide channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell icon so you don't miss what God releases next. Share this message with other chosen ones who need confirmation, and comment 555 to seal your alignment and declare that you are ready for this divine shift. Rest tonight. Trust tomorrow. Walk forward in peace. The shift is sealed.